Emily found herself standing in her dorm room, a sense of disbelief washing over her.
Emily, what are you standing there for? Let's go!
Sarah, her roommate, waved her hand in front of Emily's face.
There are so many people looking for those loans now. If we go late, they won't have any money left for us.
Emily stared blankly at the anxious Sarah.
I'm not gone.
She pinched her own cheek.
Ouch. It hurts. I'm really not gone. And I'm back 10 days before Jason's concert.
She looked at Sarah's hand reaching out to pull her, feeling a bit dazed.
In my previous life, after Jason debuted as an Idol trainee for 2.5 years, we became insanely obsessed with him. We would rather spend all our living expenses, eating only bread and water, just to buy his merchandise and support our beloved Jason. This went on for 2.5 years until Jason announced he would hold a concert to commemorate his 2.5 years of debut, as a way to thank his fans for their love.
Emily remembered the high ticket prices and the desperate measures they took to get the tickets.
Whether it was his immense popularity or media hype, the ticket prices for Jason's concert were ridiculously high. Even the worst seats cost several thousand. Despite this, we couldn't get a single ticket. In the end, it was Alice who found a way to buy high-priced tickets from a scalper. But the $50,000 per ticket price was something we, as college students, couldn't afford.
Sisters, Jason's 2.5-year anniversary concert is so meaningful. We have to support him no matter what.
We all agreed wholeheartedly, deciding to do whatever it took to see Jason's concert.
Emily recalled how they obtained the money through various means and the consequences that followed.
Alice stole money, Jessica compromised herself, and Sarah and I took out loans. We spent a night with the scalper and finally got the tickets. But the nightmare began after we watched the concert. Alice's theft was discovered, Jessica contracted a disease, Sarah and my loan photos leaked online, and under the pressure, we all dropped out. I couldn't bear the burden and I jumped.
Emily clenched her fists, determined not to make the same mistakes again.
Now, having returned to this life, I won't allow myself to make such foolish decisions again. Concerts, idols, and fandoms can all go to the side. Sarah, I've thought about it, and we shouldn't go through with that compromising loan deal.
I grabbed Sarah, who was pulling me out of the dorm room.
Do you have a way to get the money?
No.
Sarah rolled her eyes at me.
Then what are you talking about? If we don't go through with the loan, where will we get the money to see Jason's concert? Stop wasting time. My friends told me that many people at our school have already done it. If we wait any longer, we won't be able to get the money. Do you really want to miss Jason's 2.5-year anniversary concert?
Sarah was extremely excited and continued to pull me outside.
Sarah, forget it. Jason isn't going to have just this one concert in his lifetime. If we miss this one, we can go to the next one. These scalper tickets cost $50,000 each. We don't need to waste that kind of money.
I pulled Sarah back again.
Strange, no fever.
She reached out to feel my forehead.
Sarah, I'm serious. We really don't need to do this. Listen to me.
Emily, are you out of your mind? What do you mean we can see the next one if we miss this one? Jason's 2.5-year anniversary concert only happens once in a lifetime. If we miss it, we'll never see it again. And what do you mean by wasting money? For Jason, can't you spend this little bit of money? Emily, you used to be the biggest fan of Jason. How can you say such things?
Sarah's face was full of anger, as if I had betrayed the group.
Sarah, listen to me. If you go through with that loan, the photos will be all over the internet, and your life will be ruined.
I couldn't bear to see Sarah end up like she did in the past life. I had been through it all and knew it was an experience that could break a person.
Emily! I misjudged you. You're not a true fan of Jason. No! Someone like you doesn't deserve to be Jason's fan. Fine, you don't want to go? I'll go by myself. When you can't get a ticket and miss Jason's concert, you'll be the one crying.
Sarah angrily opened the door and was about to leave. At that moment, Alice walked in excitedly with a bank card.
Tada! Girls, look what I got! My brother's bank card. I borrowed it. Hee, I checked at the ATM and there's over 50,000 in it, just enough to buy a scalper ticket for Jason's concert.
Alice's joy froze when she saw the tense atmosphere between Sarah and me.
What happened to you two?
Sarah immediately started complaining about me to Alice.
Alice! Emily said she won't go through with the loan. She even said if we miss this concert, we can see the next one and we don't need to waste this money.
Alice's eyes widened. She looked me up and down, her face darkening.
Emily, what do you mean by this? Didn't we agree? The four of us are supposed to support Jason together. Are you backing out now? Are you throwing away our years of friendship just like that?
Alice, that's not what I mean. I just think we don't need to go to such lengths to see Jason's concert.
To what lengths? As Jason's true fans, we've supported him for 2.5 years. Are we going to give up now? Emily, it's just a little difficulty. Are you backing down already? Can't you overcome it? You coward.
Alice pointed at my nose and started yelling, as if I had done something unforgivable. I felt both angry and amused. What kind of magic does Jason have that makes everyone act like this? It was like we were all under a spell, including my past self. But now that I have a second chance, I won't let such a tragedy happen again.
Alice, listen to me. Return the card. If your brother and sister-in-law find out that you used the money they saved for loan repayments to buy a concert ticket, they'll end up separating. You always say your brother loves you the most. You don't want to be the reason for their separation, do you?
I tried to persuade Alice, but she seemed to have lost her mind.
You know my brother loves me the most, right? Even if he finds out, he won't blame me. But you, Emily, I never expected you to be this kind of person. From now on, move out of our dorm. Our dorm only welcomes true fans of Jason. Sarah, let's go. Ignore her.
Alice pulled Sarah away decisively. Watching their determined backs, I opened my mouth but ended up sighing and closing it again. No matter what I said now, they wouldn't listen. But I couldn't just watch them walk towards ruin without doing anything. No, I couldn't sit idly by. I had to stop this. Jessica had already compromised herself with an older man for a ticket from the scalper, and there was nothing I could do about that for now. Alice had just taken her brother's bank card, but she hadn't yet gotten the ticket from the scalper, so there was still time. But Sarah, she was about to take out a compromising loan. If I didn't stop her, it would be too late. I recalled the place where Sarah and I went to take out the loan in my previous life. It was at a company called Dream Assist at 369 Washing Road. It took about an hour and a half to get there from our school. There should still be time. With a flash of determination, I took out my phone and dialed the police.
Hello, this is the police station.
Hello, I need to report that there's a company at 369 Washing Road called Dream Assist that is exploiting female students. Please shut it down immediately.
369 Washing Road? Are you sure about this information?
Officer, my friend is on her way there right now. If you don't act quickly, it will be too late.
All right, we will handle it. Please keep your phone available for further contact.
With that, the call ended. I breathed a sigh of relief. Now, Sarah wouldn't be able to take out that compromising loan, right? I waited in the dorm for nearly an hour before my phone finally rang. I answered excitedly. It was the police station. They informed me that they had indeed found a place exploiting female students and had caught several girls in compromising situations. I was completely relieved. With that loan operation shut down, Sarah's fate from the previous life should be avoided, right? Thinking about it, I smiled happily. Saving someone's fate felt pretty good. In the evening, Jessica returned first. She saw me, her expression cold, and with a snort, she took her clothes and went into the bathroom. I knew Alice and Sarah must have told her about my betrayal. I felt a bit helpless. Changing their minds wasn't going to be easy. Especially Jessica, who had already sacrificed so much and was in too deep. She probably wouldn't stop until she made $50,000 from the older man. Soon, Jessica finished her shower. She walked out, drying her hair, without even glancing at me.
Jessica, did you take any precautions?
Jessica froze, her expression turning hostile.
Emily, what do you mean?
Nothing, I just think you should go to the hospital for a checkup, to make sure everything is okay.
You look down on me?
Jessica suddenly threw the wash basin at my feet. The basin broke in half, and the toiletries scattered everywhere. I was stunned.
Emily, what right do you have to look down on me? I've sacrificed so much for Jason. And you. You fake fan. You won't sacrifice anything. You betrayed Jason. Betrayed our group. Betrayed us. You coward. Traitor. Coward.
Jessica screamed at me like a madwoman. I was stunned by her reaction. I had never seen this side of her before. In the past, Jessica was always the high and mighty school beauty, cold and aloof, but she treated me well in private. She never spoke harshly to me. But now, just because I refused to take out a compromising loan to see Jason's concert, she was acting hysterical? I was bewildered and at a loss. At that moment, Sarah returned. She looked frustrated and, seeing Jessica grabbing my collar, she was momentarily stunned before flying into a rage.
Emily! It's all your fault. If you hadn't stopped me from taking out that loan, I wouldn't have missed it.
It's all your fault. Now where am I supposed to get $50,000 for Jason's concert tickets?
Sarah furiously grabbed my hair, her expression filled with anger. Jessica's face changed, and a thoughtful look flashed in her eyes. After a moment, she squinted and asked,
Sarah, what's going on? Are the loan people out of money?
No. When I got there, the place had already been raided by the police. Some students who went before me said someone reported it.
Who would do such a thing?
Sarah slumped into a chair, tears streaming down her face at the thought of not having money for Jason's concert tickets. She looked at me with even colder eyes, clearly blaming everything on me. Her gaze made me hesitate about whether to reveal that I was the one who reported the loan company. But Jessica seemed to have figured something out. She stared at me intently.
Emily, did you do this? How else could it be such a coincidence? You just persuaded Sarah not to take out a loan, and then the company gets raided?
I remained silent, not denying it. Sarah stared at me in shock, then screamed and lunged at me. She grabbed my hair, hitting and scratching me. I got angry too.
Why did I do all this? Wasn't it for your sake?
You didn't appreciate it, and now you are treating me like this.
I yanked Sarah's hand away and coldly said,
Enough. Sarah, wake up. Does Jason even know you? Are you really going to take out a compromising loan for someone who doesn't even know you exist? Are you crazy? Do you know what the consequences are? Your photos will be everywhere, your parents will find out, and how will you face them? Will Jason know about any of this? No, he won't. He won't know anything.
I tried to snap Sarah out of it. But it was clear I was wasting my breath. Sarah didn't wake up. Instead, she glared at me with intense hatred.
Emily! You jerk! Just because you don't want to sacrifice for Jason, why do you have to stop me? We've been sisters for so many years. How could you be so heartless? I don't care about any of that. Jason's concert for his 2.5-year anniversary only happens once, and if I miss it, I'll regret it forever. Reputation and face don't matter, but Jason's concert does. You think you can stop me? Dream on! I will see Jason's concert.
With that, Sarah ran out of the dorm room. My face changed, and I quickly got up to chase after her.
Sarah, where are you going? It's almost curfew.
Jessica grabbed me and sneered.
Emily, don't think you can stop us.
Jessica, if she goes out now and something happens, what then?
That's none of your business.
You forcefully shakes off Sarah's hand and chases after her, but she disappears. Where did she go?
I was anxious but had no idea where to find her. I didn't want to go back to the dorm either, so I went straight home. By the time I got home, it was late, and my parents were probably asleep. I quietly opened the door, not wanting to wake them. But as soon as I opened the door, I saw my mom standing there, looking at me warily.
Mom. Tears started to fall, Mom.
Seeing the gray hairs on my mom's head made my heart ache. In my previous life, I was so insistent on attending Jason's concert that I repeatedly took money from home. I even considered taking the property deed, which my mom caught me doing. This led to Sarah and me taking desperate measures. Seeing my mom like this now, she must think I'm here to take the property deed again.
Mom.
I threw myself into her arms. My mom was taken aback but instinctively hugged me. I clung to her and sobbed.
It's okay, don't cry. Tell me what's wrong.
My dad, woken by the noise, came out with a stern look.
What's wrong now? Trying a different tactic? Don't be fooled by her act. She's just here to take the property deed to pawn it for that concert.
Dad, I know I was wrong. I was foolish before, but I won't do such stupid things anymore.
My dad was stunned, then sneered.
You're just pretending.
I was speechless. Dad, I'm being sincere. Why don't you believe me? But I understood that my past actions were too much, and it was natural for my dad not to trust me. I lowered my head, leaning against my mom, feeling a pang of sorrow as I looked at her gray hair.
Mom, you have gray hair.
My mom looked at me, tears welling up in her eyes. My dad was silent for a moment before turning back to his room.
Don't think you can fool your mom. The property deed isn't here, so give up.
My mom glared at him, then gently held my hand.
Emily, your dad is just like that. Don't mind him. Stay home tonight, okay?
Okay.
My mom quickly prepared a bed for me. Lying in bed, surrounded by the familiar scent, I felt like I was in a different world. Mom, Dad, I won't disappoint you again, I promise. I slept deeply and didn't wake up until noon the next day. When I walked into the living room, my mom smiled and told me to wash up and eat. After freshening up, I sat at the table and noticed my dad's attitude was much better than last night. Maybe because I behaved well and didn't cause any trouble. I was still worried about my dorm mates, so I quickly finished lunch and left home. I had considered not getting involved. If they were so determined, let them do what they wanted. I had tried to persuade them, and if anything happened, it wouldn't be my fault. But I quickly dismissed that thought. Maybe I was given this second chance to stop all this. I couldn't just watch my friends fall into the same trap. But how could I stop them from obsessing over Jason's concert? I thought for a long time but couldn't come up with a feasible plan. After all, they wouldn't listen to me. I'm not Jason. Wait. My eyes lit up. Jason. They would definitely listen to him. But now there's a new problem. How can I get Jason to help persuade them? I don't even know where he is. As I was racking my brain on how to find Jason, a message popped up in a fan club group chat.
Jason's flight lands tonight, and he'll be rehearsing tomorrow. Let's go cheer him on.
Seeing this message, my eyes lit up. Checking the time, I immediately rushed to the airport. Actually, Jason's flight wasn't landing at night but at 3 p.m. This was something I knew from my previous life. Jason had mentioned that he was worried about overly enthusiastic fans crowding the airport, so he flew in earlier than scheduled. After landing, he posted on social media, telling fans not to wait for him. I remembered that the four of us from the dorm had just arrived at the airport when we found out Jason had already left, and we were disappointed for a long time because we didn't see him. When I hurriedly arrived at the airport, I saw a few scattered support signs. These fans were really dedicated. I glanced at the time. Jason's flight was about to land. Ignoring the other fans, I kept my eyes fixed on the entrance. The fans didn't know Jason would arrive at this time. They were just early to secure a spot for the evening. So, they weren't watching the entrance. When Jason appeared, I recognized him immediately, even though he was wearing a hat and mask, wrapped up tightly. As a longtime fan, I could spot him instantly. I was about to rush over but held back. If the fans recognized Jason, they would swarm him, and I would lose my chance to talk to him alone. I restrained my impulse and quietly followed Jason and his manager into the underground parking lot. Just as Jason was getting into the car and about to close the door, I seized the opportunity and held the door open. Jason looked at me in surprise as I quickly got into the car.
What are you doing?
Jason stared at me, dumbfounded. He probably hadn't experienced something like this before. His manager, however, was more experienced.
Jason just got off the plane and needs to rest at the hotel. Sign an autograph and then get out.
Where should I sign?
This was my first time being so close to Jason. He was even more handsome in person than on TV. No wonder I had liked him for 2.5 years. But now wasn't the time to be starstruck. I pinched my thigh hard, wincing in pain.
Why did you do that?
I quickly said, Jason, do you know how many fans have ruined their lives just to see your concert once?
What? That can't be true.
If you don't want an autograph, get out.
Ignoring her, I grabbed Jason's hand and continued. In our dorm, one of us stole money from her brother to pay off a mortgage, another slept with an older man outside of school, and one was about to take out a compromising loan.
What? That can't be true.
He didn't seem to understand the severity of the situation, but his manager's expression had changed.
Get out now.
She quickly got out of the front seat and tried to pull me out of the car. She pulled at me, but I held on to Jason's hand tightly, refusing to let go. I realized that while Jason might not know about the ticket situation, his manager definitely did. I turned and glared at her, biting her arm. having already sacrificed